This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Phantom Boxing, a brand new company starting in late 2019. They sent us a great discount code for awesome subscribers. Go to phantomboxing.co.uk if you want to try enter their 6 styles of boxing gloves, headgear, groin guards, hand wraps, or their Cobra Reflex bag. And when you go to checkout and enter the code CombatCorp10 to save 10% off any and all purchases. That's CombatCorp10 for any and all purchases. Thanks again to Phantom Boxing, and enjoy the show. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, Al, the Postmaster Tomorrow, and today I'm so excited to finally be back. If you've been following the social media networks, you'll know that I've been down for the count for the last month. After Christmas, I got smacked with pneumonia and strep, so I couldn't talk for a little bit. For about a week and a half, I was down, and then it moved right into testing positive for COVID-19, and that wasn't fun. So I could not leave my apartment for 2 straight weeks, and I went insane during that. But I tell you what, I'm really excited to get back at it with the channel. We've had a really productive year planned up ahead. I'm really excited for 2021. I'm hoping it's a lot more active than 2020 was. And here's the hoping: 2021 is better than 2020 in some ways. But let's face it can't get much worse than it was last year. Today, this video was supposed to drop actually January 1st, but we're going to drop it today, and it is Top 10 most used gloves of 2020. So to qualify for this, I basically wanted the gloves that I purchased in 2020 to the ones that I use the most. Some of them might not be, maybe 1 or 2 might fall out of that category, but all 10 gloves were purchased in 2020 and used for the most part, I'm hoping. It's also not going to be very in-depth like I normally am. I normally go too much into detail, some people say, but the one thing that I'm doing today is just telling you about the gloves, the price, what they're made out of, and why I like them and why I use them so much. I'm not going to go into everything that I did, just more or less the time frame of which I used them. I have a couple honorable mentions I'm going to bring out now before we go into the top 10. But before I do that, I just wanted to say 2,000 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The next instructional hopefully will be out within the next 2 to 3 weeks is what I'm hoping. I think I got a topic picked out that you're going to like quite a bit. Just like the last instructional, which was boxing for beginners. It's going to be something a little bit more advanced, but everyone can learn it as well. All right, folks, so with that said, let's move into the list, starting with our honorable mentions. All right, honorable mention number 1, because it's not technically a glove, it's a mitt, is the Rival RB5 bag mitts. These are the L version, the Loma version. I think I might have gotten these in late 2019, but I use these every single day, right? I know these weren't technically in 2020. They don't make the Lomachenko model anymore because Loma's now with Venom, but these gloves are phenomenal. I really, these mitts are phenomenal. I use them a lot. Every time I have a bag mitt session or bag work session, I usually go to these. I always use these for at least 4 or 5 rounds at the end of my workout. It's a nice cool down, nice warm up too. It makes you place your punches perfectly, and the protection, although you'd think there wouldn't be much to it, is actually quite well. You know, I was thoroughly shocked with these. They're based off of an older model of gloves, and hopefully we'll see a review of these coming out soon. They're pretty good. Rival makes good stuff. Then going into, of course, the Onyx Sports X Factor training gloves, which I use at least once a week. I have to. I love these gloves. They're great. They're a scientific marvel, in my opinion, as far as it goes. Between the X Factor strapping system on the inside, I did a review of these in 2019. And I tell you what, they are awesome. You know, I got these towards the very tail end of 2019 and used them a lot more in 2020. But there's other gloves out there, and I think I just kind of have to give them a bit of a bias pass because after my review, I really fell in love with these gloves. I think Onyx made a really good glove here. Trevor Whitman is a genius. I recommend anyone try those. They're about $300. But there is a bit of a wait list to get them. But you can get them customized for free. And then, of course, my babies, the Clatto Reyes training gloves. I wound up getting a new pair in 2020, actually about 3 months ago, a lace-up pair, because these are approaching 6 years of age. I think they're about 5.5 to 6 years of age, the Velcro model. When Tiger Orange first came out, these are one of the first Tiger Orange models. But I got these because I love these gloves. If I don't know what to use, I go directly to Clatto Reyes. There is no ifs, ands, or buts or in-betweens. I always go to Clatto Reyes. Nothing else does it for me, right? Just like Clatto Reyes. So they get a big bias pass because I'm always going to say they're my #1 favorite, although there are a few gloves that are very much in the contention right now. So I go with these. They're about $200. Most of the time you can get them a little bit cheaper if you go to a couple of the outsourcers, and Amazon has a lot of good deals on those too. And then as far as MMA gloves go for 2020, I got these at the beginning of 2020 when, we weren't in complete lockdown. And these are the Fairtex Super Spar gloves. These were designed by Alistair Overeem, and I tell you what, he did a really good job in designing these because I love them. They're perfect size for my hands because I always struggled to find MMA gloves or sparring gloves that were for MMA that were supposed to be like perfect size for my hands, and then the finger wedges were so big, but these are just were so small rather, but these are perfect size. I can put hand wraps on with these and everything's perfect with these gloves. For sure, these are my favorite MMA gloves that I have so far as sparring gloves go. So I use these the most in 2020, but they are not a boxing glove, so they don't make the top 10 list. But now let's go into number 10. So my number 10 top most used pair of boxing gloves this year was the Fortress Boxing SS 2.0V training gloves. Now, I fell in love with these gloves and I got them relatively late in the year. I got these in the mail in early December and I was stoked when I got these. I got them on Black Friday for a deal. You can get them for about 135 US dollars, I believe. It's, I think, like 90 or 100 British pounds, because that's where Fortress Boxing is based out of. I forget the exact conversion rate, but I know I wound up paying about 135 bucks for everything that came with it. These are the SS 2.0V. They have the SS 2.0, which is lace up, so they have a lace up, but the SS stands for Super Strap. Okay, so you can see the SS here, but Super Strap is this part here. Okay, which for the Velcro model, you might as well just say SS for strap, because there's two. There's one big one and then one small one. But the Super Strap for the lace-up has that Super Strap part here as well. I love the latex padding. I love the genuine cowhide leather. I love that it's a very fit glove. And what I mean by fit is that it fits my hand perfectly. It's not too big in the knuckle area. It's not too big in the hand compartment. Everything about it is perfect, right? I love everything about these gloves. They are really, really awesome. They're just phenomenal. They're very durable as well, and they come in a bunch of different colors. I went with the creamsicle looking one, the orange creamsicle colors, because I love orange creamsicles. But these are awesome. I got them a little bit late in the year. Otherwise, they'd be ranked much higher. I can already tell that I'm going to fall in love with these. They're a great puncher's glove, and I see people like Darren Till using these, and I also see guys like Fit to Box really giving these guys a lot of shout-outs, and for good reason. They're a good new company. I think they've been out for maybe 5 years now. I'm really excited to finally add this to my collection. I can already tell I'm going to be using these a lot more. My number 9 most used pair of boxing gloves of 2020 was the Fight to Finish training gloves in the all matte coloring. Now, Fight to Finish sent these to me, and honestly, this is something that I don't often really talk about, but I really wish I did a re-review of these because I felt like my first review sucked. Because these gloves are amazing. I use them a lot. They are by far probably, it's hard, it's between these and the Top Boxer Win 1 series, but these are such a good winning replica in some ways, or a winning do-over. But the thing that I like about these a lot is not only the absolute awesome matte black finish to it, it's just they're basic and they get the job done, and they're a lot cheaper than the winning gloves in general. Winning's always $300. I think these are about 100 to 150 maybe, and you can get them a little bit cheaper if they have sales too. And on top of it, the guys that Fight to Finish are very vocal with their customers. I love that about any company on the planet. They get the job done, and for me being a puncher, actually these are one of the few pillow gloves that I kind of put in that hybrid category, because they have this really nice sponge foam layer that has this really nice recoil to it. So it protects my hands perfectly, and on top of it, I get a good crack off the bag with these. They're super comfortable, perfect size for my hands. Everything about these are awesome. Fight to Finish is a great company. They have a bunch of different colors and stuff to choose from, and I recommend anyone to give these a shot. All right, so for my number 8 most used pair of gloves in 2018 was the Heavy Hitters Champion Training Gloves, which I did a review on. And these guys also sent me these gloves as well. But I love these gloves because they are so unique. You know, I don't call them like a winning replica per se, like most other things try to. They try and be a Japanese style glove, but they're definitely their own unique heavy hitters feel. They're super soft, right? And even though they're a 14-ounce pair of gloves, I've actually sparred in these because they're just so padded. You know, that's the thing about these. Not always does the weight mean that the padding is going to be less in the knuckles. But these are awesome. I primarily use these for bag work the most because after a while of using them, you just have this... It definitely they don't give you a puncher's feel, but they're just so comfortable to use. You know, the perfect hand compartment size for me. Perfect wrist support and everything about it. And on top of it, they look sharp as well. And Heavy Hitters is super active and super vocal with their customer support. And that's one thing that I always look for in a company. So for sure, Heavy Hitters did a phenomenal job with the Champion Training Gloves. I use them quite a bit. They're a great little glove for me. I love these, especially for bag and mitt work. All right, number 7 on the list is my favorite aesthetic gloves, the Top Boxer Custom Alien Training Gloves, the SpongeBob model, which I still hope one day Top Boxer decides to make these an actual sale item that you can go and get. Maybe Top Boxer will watch this and they'll know that maybe you can do like a little limited time thing because these are still awesome. I didn't use them as much as I thought I would for some reason. They became more of a display piece for me, but I did use them quite a bit, especially for bag work. Just on the bag, these were amazing. On the mitts, these were amazing. The cowhide leather's awesome, but I did notice maybe it's just the pink dye that it did flake a little bit after a while. Not so much flake, but it definitely creased a little bit. And I took very good care of these gloves as well. I still do. I still use them a lot, actually. But to me, for a puncher's glove, these for sure fall more in like that Grant category. They're more of defenser's puncher's glove, a defensive puncher's glove. They're big, they're thick in the padding. They don't really reach that Reyes type of puncher's glove, but they are for sure a perfect glove. And I even think if you had, after using them for a little bit longer, I definitely think if you had some hand issues, I still would recommend using these as a puncher's glove. I think they did a very good job. I just didn't use them as much as I really thought I was going to, but they are stellar. I do love them. And I mean, come on. SpongeBob training gloves. That's all I got to say. They also did an amazing job with the customization process. And I tell you what, it was a great surprise to open these up in the mail. But without further ado, let's move on to the next pair. So my most recent review on the channel was these, the Rival RB10 and Teleshock bag gloves. And I know maybe they don't technically fall in the training glove category, but I use these so much and they are technically a glove. They're not a bag mitt, they are a glove. And these are just phenomenal. My favorite pair of bag gloves I've ever used. Just between the knuckle protection, the latex padding on the inside, and then the awesome look. They look like they're from the future. And then you have that D3O technology on the inside, which gets harder as you hit it, which is insane. You would think that would mean it would hurt your knuckles as you were punching it too, and it kind of feels like a gimmick when you look into it at first. And a couple people even commented saying that, but they work out so well. The interior is the perfect size. It's so soft on the inside. It's an overall amazingly comfortable glove that I would recommend to literally anybody that's getting into MMA, kickboxing, boxing, whatever it is. Everything about the glove is awesome, and I use these more than any other bag glove this year because they did such a phenomenal job. The RB10 and Teleshock bag gloves are just amazing. I recommend them to anybody that is trying to just hit the bag or mitts and trying to take it a little bit serious. So this entry might shock a lot of people, but I got these at the very beginning of 2020, and that would be the Everlast Protex 3 training gloves. Everyone's shocked because people know I kind of have that thing with Everlast where, for me, most people say you got to spend a lot of money to even get the good stuff with Everlast, but for me, even the good stuff with Everlast is meh. Sometimes, it's just the brand name behind it, but I tell you what, these gloves perform exceptionally well. I primarily use these more for sparring than I ever did really bag work and mitt work. But I got them at the beginning of the year, and honestly, there were some days I'm like, man, it's going to be a hard sparring day. I went with these. The padding in it is perfect for my sparring partners. It's perfect for me. And on top of it, the wrist support is awesome, especially for a Velcro glove. They both come with these nice sleeves that you can go over. So the idea is you like put it on your arm like this, and then you put it here, put it in, put it on, and then you put the strap over. And that's the idea behind it. Because you would think that the Velcro strap, because Everlast is that weird thing like this, it's not really much of a hook and loop. Of a 360 Velcro strap. It is a hook and loop, but you know, it just looks like it'd be weak and frail. But of course, they kind of countered that with this. They also have lace-up versions of these gloves, but I was just surprised. They are not a puncher's glove by any means, although I do enjoy using these, especially when it comes to sparring, because I actually feel like I'm making good contact without damaging anything or anybody, which is good. So they're for sure a really nice padded, puffy glove. They're definitely in that pillow category for me. They are super comfortable, and the interior actually dries out super well. You got that Everlast C3 foam and EverDry technology on the inside. And I think they actually did a really good job with the Protex 3 training gloves. I was actually pleasantly surprised and shocked in a lot of ways by these gloves. So review for these definitely coming soon. So the next pair of gloves that I have are maybe ones that have been recommended for me to review a lot, is the Sabas Bella series. Sabas is one of those companies that it just makes amazing equipment, and I don't feel like they get the same recognition as some other companies should. They are awesome in a lot of ways because they make, like their Super Soft series is the like equivalent to like a Winning, or their Pro series is like a Grant. And these, I imagine, are trying to take a shot at the Clatto Reyes like fight glove feel, because that's the thing. They're not fight gloves though. That's the cool part about it. They have like latex and other paddings on the inside, but they also have quilted horsehair padding on the inside. The only thing is about this horsehair is that it's not like other fight glove horsehairs where you can bat it away and it goes away. These stay in one spot and it's wedged in between everything. That's why I love these, because they are one of the better puncher's gloves I've ever used, and they do feel just like they're amazing. I love sparring with these. I love hitting the bag with these. Everything about the gloves just make me happy. They do it for me. The hand compartment is perfectly sized for me. They have that nice classic black look to them. And they are like kind of like the Fortress gloves in some ways. These are a little bit thinner, but the knuckle compartment is perfect. Everything about the glove screams puncher, and I am a puncher as puncher comes. And I do love these gloves. I use them quite a bit. They're definitely in my top 5 favorite puncher glove category so far. You know, they get it perfectly. And on top of it, I like how Sabas decided to get the horsehair padding on the inside. That's something that you don't see a whole lot of other training gloves themselves do. And on top of it, you would think that it would hurt a lot when you get hit with these. They're not hard at all, actually. They're nice and soft, and my sparring partners actually liked when I used these. When I would ask them how did the gloves feel, they would say it feels just like most other gloves, except for the fact that they're a little bit softer when you hit, and it feels squishy because of that horsehair padding on the inside with the other foams on the inside. So it's an enigma of a glove to me, and I think Sabas did a really good job, and I think it's about time I start reviewing Sabas's equipment, because in my opinion, they need to be hyped a lot more. So my number 3 most used pair of boxing gloves. So 2020's number 3 most used pairs of boxing gloves goes to the Phantom Boxing El Kukui 1.0 model. Got these back in March at the beginning of the year, and this is the glove that started off the awesome relationship that we have with Phantom Boxing. And of course, once again, if you go to Combat Corp 10 at checkout, you can save 10% off any and all purchases, as we've been doing since March. Phantom Boxing is awesome. I love their equipment, and the reason why I like these is because when it came to mitt work for this year, these were my gloves of choice. I didn't go with a whole lot of other options. You know, there was like the Rival RB10, but those I used a lot more for the bag work, but these were just amazing for mitt work. They just crack off the mitts perfectly. The bag work is awesome with these as well, but mitts, I use these exclusively and extensively. These were amazing. Obviously you can't really spar with them because they're a 14-ounce glove and I'm a heavyweight, but they look awesome. They still look like they did when I took them out of the box almost a whole year ago now, and they still look sharp. They still act sharp, and they are amazing. Obviously, they've made the 2.0 now, and they had a couple other gloves out there, but the Phantom Boxing El Kukui 1.0 training gloves they did a phenomenal job with these. As far as mitt work goes, I've never had a pair of gloves that I like much more. Number 2. So in 2020, the gloves I use second most goes to the Venom Lomachenko hammer model gloves. These are of Venom's Pro line, which you have the Giant, the Shield, and then the hammers, and then this is the Loma model, right, by Lomachenko, because in 2019, 2020, he signed a deal with Venom, and now they exclusively do stuff for him, which shocked the world because, Venom was always seen as like an MMA giant or a kickboxing giant, and now they're switching to the UFC and everything for their, their outfitter. But these gloves pleasantly shocked me, more than they did with the Everlast Protex gloves that I had earlier on. These gloves are amazing to me because Venom has made a couple pairs of gloves in MMA and boxing gloves that I've tried in the past that literally just were destroyed within a couple weeks or months even, and the Velcro just fell apart, the padding fell apart, everything about the glove just fell apart. But these I've had for almost a year now. I got these, I believe, in February. These were one of my first reviews of 2020, and I tell you what, they are amazing. They have this really awesome shine to them. The leather is still in perfect tact, and the knuckle padding is just different from most other puncher's gloves out there. I went through all the details of the 3.5 millimeter padding that they use. That's like this nice sponge feel. But when you push into the glove, it has this weird honeycomb type feel to it, is the easiest way I can word it. It's just so interesting, and it feels awesome on my hands. I love sparring in these. I love hitting the bag with these. I can hit the bag with these for days and not get exhausted or tired. It has that perfect stuff to it. It just makes you happy to use a pair of gloves. And on top of it, they look awesome. They also have the other standard colors, but these I spent a little bit more on because they're the Loma model, and Loma's got to get his royalty check. So the gloves are awesome for sure. I recommend these to anyone. I also did a review on these earlier, so you should probably go check that out if you're thinking about getting these. But I tell you what, I use these second most in 2020. Which glove that I use the most? Let's find out now. So we have 2 gloves on the list by the same company with the El Kukui 2.0s by Phantom Boxing, our sponsor. And I love Phantom Boxing because of the technological advancements that they did from the 1.0. And on top of it, they customized these for me in my favorite colorway, and they gave me the Combat Corp logo on orange and blue. But these to me are perfect because they are a unique puncher's glove to me. They have that latex padding on the inside that's perfect for rebounding with shots. It's perfect for knuckle protection. The thumb is perfect for me because I use it for MMA purposes too, especially if you're going to go in for a tie clinch and everything. I think this glove is perfect for multiple sports. And that's the other thing that I love about these. I can go into boxing using these. I can go into them with MMA and use these. Kickboxing, Muay Thai. They are multi-sport pairs of gloves, and they are perfect for me. And that's the thing about them, is for the whole year, I've also helped design these, but for the whole year, when I got these, I got the first model in March, and then I think I got these in April or May. And the thing is, they rapidly made results, and made new things with these gloves to get them out to people that had certain complaints or certain things about them. And I tell you what, I am so happy to be partnered with Phantom Boxing. There is no bias into me saying I use these the most out of any glove in 2020. In fact, we see nothing but good reviews about these gloves, and now we have a couple more gloves coming out that are in the works, and I'm super excited about that. So these were by far, I use these the most. They're durable. They look sharp. They will not fail you, and I think you're going to love these quite a bit, whether you're a puncher, whether you're into pillow gloves, into defensive style gloves. They fit the category for everything for me. They are my favorite pair of gloves that I used in 2020, and they are by far probably up there. At least they're getting close to beating Reyes for my number one, but I gotta use them for maybe another year before I can call them the best glove I've ever used. So folks, those were my top 10 most used gloves of 2020. And if you have any questions on any of the gloves, let me know. Some of them have reviews, but of course some of them means that the reviews are coming very soon. But right now, 2020's champion was the El Kukui 2.0 training glove. All right, folks, with that said, I'm Al Morrow with the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.